Uploading bits. Uploading bits to the internet. Right, hello. So, working on my programmable parser and ran into an issue where I cannot have my Lua plugin and my GUI coexist because they're configuring mlua differently. So the Lua plugin is configuring mlua to build a module, but the GUI, which is using the bridge and all that, is configuring mlua for vendored. So what happens when I try to enable them both is I get that the features are mutually exclusive. So I had a conversation with my AI overlord, ChatGPT, last night, and the one solution we worked through is to make a split in the workspace. So instead of one workspace, I would have two workspaces. One that's building the Lua plugin and its dependencies, and the other one building the GUI and its dependencies, so that in the two workspaces, mlua will be configured differently. So in one it'll be vendored, and the other one it'll be module, and all of the things that they share in common, I'm going to try to put that in a common location that's going to end up getting built twice, since we don't want the build trees to get mingled because it'll bring us back to the same situation. So we have to keep completely separate build trees. So there's going to be some redundancy in the builds, but mlua should be built differently in the two trees, allowing me to have both projects built. And so I'm going to be working on that today. So let's begin. So according to the AI overlord, I want to start with a VS Code multi-root workspace with telling Rust Analyzer that I have two linked projects. So that's what I'm going to do. Let's start by making the two workspaces. So right now there's a common cargo tunnel at the very top, and we're going to get rid of that and basically make split this into two different folders. So let's establish the folders. So call the first one the I guess hosted, and the other one plugin. Not at that level. This level plugin. Okay, and then let me just copy here the cargo toml to hosted. Ah. Did that do what I wanted? Yes, okay. Okay, anyway, cargo toml to plugin. I wonder why it's removing the slash like that. All right. Plugin. So let's I guess reduce it to just the top level member for now. I'm just gonna, you know, I'm just gonna clear out everything and enable the plugin and keep that open, and then the hosted. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna on both keep the problematic ones commented out and try to build the common ones. I need to figure out how to have the common one in the workspace file though. See what the told me. Okay, so you can do a path equal cargo toml. Okay. Sorry, I'm looking off stream. Trying to understand what ChatGPT told me. Wondering what to do for members. Like, what it told me didn't. The path equals is inside the crate, but what do I put for members here? Like, if I want to have a member, how do I give it a relative path? I guess I can just follow up. How do I refer to the common crate from the two separate workspace cargo toml members list? 3 ways to do that, depending if you're creating two separate tiles. You want to. So I'm skipping the one where I have 2 copies. I can either symlink. Okay, single common crate stored outside. Put it at the root. Then each workspace is pointed to a relative path. Oh, I see. So I would just do this. So let me make sure AST doesn't depend on it. Okay, AST depends on span and utilities. So let's pull. I'm just pulling in the very minimum here. Actually thinking we'll make plugin and hosted identical to start with. Span doesn't depend on anything. That's good. And then utilities doesn't. Okay, great. And I think I'm just gonna take this and copy paste it to hosted. Okay, then it wants me to make a top level. What do they call it? Code workspace file. Okay, so let's make a new file. From here, data integrator dot code project code workspace. Try that again. Okay, and then basically gonna copy from. Tell me this. So the path to the embedded workspace. Well, it doesn't matter which one. It's the 2 that I copied. So plugin is 1, and the other one is hosted. I kind of feel like I would like to list them in the opposite order. Okay, and then apparently if I open that file in VS Code, so I'll close folder, and then open file. Code workspace. Open. Open work. Okay. Is it an open workspace? Open workspace from file? Open. Okay, so we have two we have two uh Rust Analyzer didn't boot up. Let's reload. Okay, I'm not getting a Rust Analyzer. That's pointing. And I can't click here. Okay, time to reboot. I read that correctly. So Rust Analyzer should know about both because of linked projects. One VS Code window shows both workspaces. And the reboot is stuck. And reset. Okay. There's Rust dependencies, but it's empty. Workspace is open. Oh, so I have to select a workspace. I see. Okay, it looks like it doubled the path. Posted plugin. Okay, I see. What happens if I click on that? So hold on. How do I clear this? Okay, clear that, and then what if I click on this and then do restart? The path is duplicated. Did I put the file in the wrong folder, maybe? Here. I should ask the AI then. Hmm. Okay, asking AI. In well, I'm setting up the multi-workspace and getting an error from Rust Analyzer saying it failing to fetch the workspace root. The path has the embed instead of just embed. See what it says. Duplication happens in a multi-work VS Code setup, so when Rust Analyzer gets confused about the relative paths in your workspace root. It comes from either linked projects or code workspace file being relative to the wrong place or opening the wrong folder as the root. So why it happens? When you tell Rust Analyzer that interprets these paths relative to the VS Code workspace root, not relative to each other. If your workspace root in VS Code is already embed workspace, then embed workspace cargo toml solves to, okay, so to fix it, if it has that, then that will be wrong. Okay, so it's correcting me. Okay, so it just says that I should not have duplicated the path. Restart server. Try that again. Actually, let's just reload. Okay. Is a member of the wrong workspace. Of the wrong workspace. Affected posted actual. Okay. Now I'm getting an error that common crate is a member of the wrong workspace. Expected embed common embeds cargo toml. Oh, actually, maybe that's because it sees the original. Let me try this again without having. This should other works. Try again without having the original cargo toml. We'll just remove them. There was nothing. So now it shouldn't see a workspace there. So let's try to reload. Now what does it say? Not hierarchically is not hierarchically below the workspace root. Okay. Now I'm getting error that the common crate is not hierarchically below the workspace. Cargo rule workspace member must be inside of the workspace root directory. You tried to do that. Why it cares? Fix up is make the repo root the actual workspace root. I have one workspace in the repo containing all members. So I can't do that. Oh, why? Because then we'll have a mixed build again. Keep multiple workspaces but duplicate it. Make it a common git. Okay. still want to have two separate workspaces so that two build trees don't mingle, so that mlua can be built rendered in one tree. The other keyword, rendered, and already forgotten. Module in the other. Basically, we want one repo, two independent cargo workspaces. Both need to depend on the same common crate. Build caches or stay isolated. Still don't rust on to understand the relationship with anything. The sticking point is cargoes must be under the same workspace rule. It means that you can't just path equals ... if it sits between them. How to keep them separate and share it. Put a common set of workspace via symlink. Okay, then that's what I'll do. Okay, so then ln-s dot, well, doesn't matter what directory I'm in. I don't think it does. So it's ... /ast, and then the where I'm going to put the symlink is in posted. Not that. Don't know why it got that. Posted AST. And then rendered, right? Not rendered. Plugin. And then utilities. Okay. Just making sure it's going to do the right thing. And what was the last one? Span. Okay, so now it sees them as symlinks. Okay, so am I missing one? I'm missing one. Yep, missing hosted. Oh, I see what I did. I made a wrong link to AST, so I need to make this AST. Okay. Why is there a link there? I didn't want that. Okay. Looks better. Posted. Yep, and then plugin. Okay, good. That looks correct. Okay. So reload. The error is this time. Oh, it's because I had the dots in there, right? Yeah, I need to fix that. So the dots need to go. In both of them. Reload. Okay, now what? Failed. Failed to load AST. Referenced by there. Failed to load manifest or dependency utilities. No such file. Why? Because of that path? It should have been able to go up and then back down. Failed to read that, but that path should be fine. Oh, I misspelled it. Utilities. Ooh, I think it worked. Okay, cool. I think it worked. So then, okay, so it depends on what thing I have open. We get a different, different output. Okay. Whew. Okay, I think it's working. So if I do like cargo build here, it won't know. But if I go to hosted cargo build, or if I go to plugin cargo build, okay, so that should have made a target in each one. Okay, good. So then let's remove target from the common one. Okay, and I think I just need to fill in the rest here. So all the common ones. So I guess one at a time. Plugin doesn't need a data tree, does it? Actually, then I don't need it to be in the common, do I? I could actually move the whole directory. Right, so then I'm going to remove the link. And I'm just going to move data tree to hosted. So here it is, directly there. Should not be symlinked, so reload. Right, it's not symlinked anymore. Okay. So this is working so far. So far, what AI got wrong was in the code workspace file, it had originally told me to put these paths into these, but that was wrong. It ended up duplicating them. I guess what it's doing is it's doing a one-to-one between folders and settings. Either that or I don't need this at all and it's just redundant to list this twice. That's maybe one thing to check, but at least it looks like I already have a mouse dead zone. Anyway, it looks like when I click on one, it's hard to tell, but I think it's going over to that workspace. And if I click something in the other place, it's hard to do because it's that dead zone there again. I think now it's switched over to the plugin workspace. Anyway, gotta reboot. This is doing the right thing. Well, it makes me nervous. We're gonna go for the record. How long can the stream go before someone chats? And I probably just jinxed it. Now that I've said that, someone's gonna chat. Lurkers are like itching to type something in chat, but they don't want to because they want to remain lurkers. I respect that. Okay, so I think I'm just going to continue on the hosted one. So the hosted needs the hex editor and the image viewer, and it's going to not find them until I move them. So move hex editor to hosted. Move. Oh, image viewer, not yet. That's going to be common. Ingest is hosted. Lexer is, no, Lex is common. Parse is hosted. Forgot GUI. GUI's hosted. Common one, image viewer. That needs to be symlinked. We'll symlink it in the other one too while we're at it. Ingestion is common, so Lexer is common. Parser is common. Token is common. And widget is common, right? Yes. Okay, reload. Okay, what's the error? Failed to load GUI because couldn't load bridge. Oh, I forgot bridge. Yeah, bridge is common. Reload. I think it's doing it. Hey there, Stripe Monkey. You're the first person to chat, and the stream has been going for 35 minutes and 40 seconds. A new record! Lurkers, all the lurkers now weep, or you have broken the streak. Actually, they're weeping in joy because now they don't have to speak up and unlurk themselves. Hey there, Nightshade dude. Now you can chat. You had to wait for the first. Don't most people want to be first? Hey there, meme clear bams. No, I think no one's been chatting because no one knows what the hell I'm doing. So, at the very beginning of the stream, probably everyone missed it because no one was watching yet, but I'm trying to resolve a problem where Lua plugin and GUI are trying to enable conflicting features. So if I show you what GUI, which is hosting the Lua, to host the Lua interpreter, you use vendored feature, but over in the plugin workspace, I have I don't have it yet, so I'd have to show you cat plugin, Lua plugin. I guess I haven't moved it there yet. That one uses the module feature, and the module feature and the vendored feature are incompatible. You can't turn them both on. So I had to separate my projects into two different folders and two different workspaces. So we have a let me show you the there's a DataDisintegrator.code-workspace where we give two folders and we tell Rust Analyzer there are two linked projects to these two folders. The AI got this wrong at first, so it actually put hosted and plugin on the two different lines here, and we ended up getting hosted/hosted/cargo toml. So it said, okay, take out the directory, and then it seemed to start working. But I have to use symlinks, so when you see these little arrows, these are the common projects that are symlinked back to the parent directory, but they'll be listed twice. So both hosted and plugin will have all the same common ones, but then a folder that's not common between them. I'm a little worried that the Clippy is taking a long time to load, but maybe it's probably because it's doing it twice now. I need to make sure I don't run out of disk space. 66%, we're good. Okay, so now I should be able to run. I'm not going to do it here. Actually, I'm just going to have two tabs here. So the left tab will have it in the it's too tall now. In the hosted folder. Then I should be able to run the GUI there, and the other folder will have it be in the plugin. So, which I haven't moved the Lua plugin here. I guess I'll just do that while we're working. So move Lua plugin to plugin. Maybe I should call it something different. I don't know. But yeah, these are all symlinked except for Lua plugin. And in the other folder, the only thing there that's different should be the GUI and its direct dependencies that aren't shared. All the non-shared stuff should be at the root. Just got the notification. It was like 35 minutes late. Workspace management. Yes, we're doing advanced workspace management. I'm hoping I don't run out of disk space. I did double the amount of RAM that I'm giving the VM so that it won't run out this time. I run top. You can see now it's 16 gigs total, and we got plenty free. So yeah, you can see by the fact that it's at 16 total, 10 free. When it was half of that, at 8, this was really close to being running out, right? It was maybe only 2 gigs free out of 8 total. So if I ran anything that used 2 gigabytes of memory, it would run out and start swapping like mad. And you can see the swap partition is actually pretty tiny, sort of pathetically small. I think you're supposed to target your swath space should be the same amount as you have in RAM. I thought that was the rule, but I don't know why it's only 2 gigs. Anyway, the long story short, in order to have mlua built in 2 different ways, so 2 different feature sets, I have to have 2 different build trees. One for this GUI and then one for the Lua plugin. So in this one, where we have the Lua interpreter built to be vendored. I don't know why they call it vendored, but the vendored feature turned on allows me to embed it in the program. But in the plugin folder, it's going to be a module because this one is building a Lua module. So we'll have 2 different builds of mlua that are different. So I have to keep the build trees separated. As the offspring say, you got to keep them separated, right? So why did I do that? I can just do ls-l. So here the things that are common are the ones that are sim-linked, and the ones like data tree, GUI, hex editor. Actually, why is that there? Oh, right. Ingest, elect, and parse are like the command line tools. Right. Hey, Z.A. Shah, thanks for the raid. Hey, man. I'm assuming you're a man, but I don't know, actually. Sorry. I shouldn't presume. Hello, person. Glorious Raider. I'm working right now to split two parts of my workspace. But since there might be a lot of people here who have no idea what I'm doing, let me go over what I am doing. So in the hosted workspace, I have, it's weird. Here we go. This is the main program, which is hosting a Lua interpreter, but it's built mostly in Rust. So it's in the hosted folder because we're hosting the Lua interpreter. I'll get to that in a second. But this is the main program I'm working on. And the idea here is to build up something that you can parse different data files with. And one example data file would be like this pog slide GIF, animated GIF, right? And rather than hard coding it to understand the GIF format, I made it so that it has a language and a compiler for that language built in so that you can tell it through a programming language how to parse different formats. So, for example, and I'm not going to be able to have access to this, so I'm going to have to go to, going to let me find it. Oh, I guess I got to symlink this in. Hold on. Or I can do it from this shell here, right? I can just make another tab. Go to the examples folder. And then do... Okay, this is really low budget, but see how we have header, logical screen, data, and trailer under GIF here? Well, that's basically the overall structure of a GIF file. So we have header, logical screen, data, and trailer here. Data is an array because it's in a loop in the language. So the header being at the top, then you have the logical screen, which has things like the descriptor, which has the width and the height of the image. There's a global color table here, and then these data blocks are either like different extensions, or they're the actual graphic rendering block, which has the image data in it. And there's the image. I separately been working on like an image viewer that I'm going to add as a widget onto the screen here, so that when I click on an image, you actually see it. But right now it's broken, so I can't show you at the moment. But just trust me on that. So that's one side of the project. The other side is I want to be able to automate this. So I want to be able to plug my parser into scripting language like Lua and allow you to write, for example, I have this Lua script here where we're pulling in our parsing tools as a Lua module, and then this is basically the same thing. So we're pulling in that pog slide GIF, we're pulling in the GIF format, and then we're parsing it, and then I've automated locating the color palette, locating one of the images, and then displaying it on the screen. And that part I can't show you right at the moment because it's broken and I've been restructuring the workspace, but just imagine that you run that in the Lua interpreter and it pops up an image that was extracted using my parser out of the GIF file. So everyone's a dude if you're cool enough, that's true. So yeah, you caught me off guard with the raid. That's okay. I'm in the middle of breaking apart my project into two workspaces. One where the Lua interpreter is hosted inside this app here, and the other one where we're making basically a plugin. So actually, I can show you really quick what that looks like. Oh, pop up. So to make a Lua plugin in Rust, first you have to, in mlua, you have to say you want the Lua module. And this is the core problem about why I need two different workspaces. I ran into this yesterday. If you turn on the module feature in mlua to make a plugin, and in the same workspace, you go and you say that you want to turn on the vendored feature in order to embed the Lua interpreter into your app, you will get, it will be totally broken. When you try to build, it'll say that these features are incompatible with each other. They're mutually exclusive. You can't turn them both on at the same time. So I asked ChatGPT how to solve this, and one solution it gave that I liked was split your workspace into two workspaces. So you have everything in common in one common location, and then you have two subdirectories where you have two different workspaces, and then you symlink the common parts. So like, this is my abstract syntax tree module that looks like this, and it is in one common location. This AST is a symlink to the parent directory AST. So easier to show here. So the abstract syntax tree crate is actually one level up. Yeah, it's very small. So it's in both. It's symlinked from both the hosted and the plugin one. But the pieces that are like the main GUI is only in the hosted folder, and then the Lua plugin is only in the plugin folder. And I wish I had better names, but yeah. So since each one's a separate workspace and a separate build tree, they're each going to have their own target folder. So like if I look at what's in the target folder for the plugin, well, we haven't built anything there yet. I go to the hosted and do the target. Yeah, we have the GUI that we built there. So yeah. Anyway, sorry, it's sort of a clumsy overview because, like I said, the workspace is all broken, and I'm trying to rebuild it right now. So hopefully it'll make more sense as we go on. And I'm going to try to get that image viewer working in the Lua plugin workspace, which is totally broken right now. So it's out. It's not in the hosted one anymore. On the plugin side, fix that, Cargo Tommel. I think these are all set to go as long as I delete the ones that are not in the plugin configuration. So these are all get deleted. This is deleted. This is deleted. This is deleted. These are all pulled back in. So that should work now. I think this should work now. So this will build everything that's going into the Lua plugin, while in this other tab we built everything that is the main GUI. Since they're separate build trees, I can actually build them simultaneous now. Whereas before, if you try to do two build commands in the same workspace, one locks out the other. I am finding ChatGPT helpful. It gets 80% of the way, and I have to find out what 20% is wrong and then either reprompt it, which I did. I had to go like 3 or 4 different follow-up prompts to get it to admit that it made a mistake, and then basically refining the query to get all the way there. Getting used to having your questions answered when you feel lost. Just for me, it's been a matter of recognizing it's not going to get me all the way to the destination. It's going to get me on the right track, but then it's going to get some things wrong. Private module. I would guess we need to address that. Do a plugin, okay. I'm surprised that it didn't tell me that here. Oh, we didn't reload, that's why. Now it should hopefully show me the same error when I click on this, right? Once it's done loading. Indexing, it's indexing. If I'm patient enough, it should have told me, but it didn't. It did not. Just hasn't caught up to it yet. It should have told me that this is private. Wait. Uh-oh. I think Rust Analyzer is broken or something, right? I need to like restart the server. Yeah, it should have told me that I did something wrong here. Okay, that's not good. I've broken the clippy feedback here. Okay, well, I guess I'll have to try to figure it out on my own. Oh yeah, I can't even click on anything. It's just totally lost. What is the same thing happening in the GUI project? Yep. So no overlay hints. Everything's broken. Let me reboot and see what happens. Meanwhile, ask ChatGPT. I got the 2 workspaces building from command line, but Rust side VS Code seems broken. Inlay aren't working, and errors aren't highlighted. While it answers me, I'm going to log back into the VM. Okay. It says usually means Rust Analyzer is confused about which cargo toml to treat as the root and how to resolve the shared common crate. You're fine with cargo build, the VS Code inlay hints and diagnosis are dead. Rust Analyzer probably latched onto just one workspace, is trying to treat the whole repo as a single workspace. By default, Rust Analyzer looks upward for a cargo toml, treats this as a workspace. If you have multiple, it doesn't know which one to pick. If it does find both, it may merge them in a way it doesn't support. So I need to tell it explicitly. Okay, it's giving me a suggestion on how to fix it. Hitch Mippo, hi, how are you doing? You rely on GPT too much and that really punishes you when you don't keep in mind that things have changed. See, at least it's indexing everything. It's just not like, I guess it got stuck here, right? Yeah, well, didn't detect any problems, but there are problems. Oh, actually, inlay hints are working now. Wait, let's make a syntax error. Okay, it's working in one workspace. So we got that. So maybe it's just confused when I flip over to the other workspace. Okay, no inlay hints are broken there. Okay, it's working in one workspace but not the other. To tell ChatGPT, actually, I found out before trying your latest suggestions that Rust Analyzer is looking for one workspace, the first one, but not the other. ChatGPT says, that perfectly fits with how Rust Analyzer behaves by default when it finds multiple cargo tunnel files, but no explicit instructions, just picks the first one. The fix that is in the linked projects, you have to explicitly tell it the paths. That way it'll load both workspaces. I say last time I tried that, the workspace has got doubled. Yeah, the workspace path getting doubled happens yeah. Okay. The cure is simple. Use absolute paths to make sure your relative paths are correct relative to the code workspace. Oh, okay. So it's telling me to do this. So I'll show you what it's telling me to do. In the code workspace, rather than doing a relative path, it just says to do that. And I didn't give it the exact name. I just told it embed in module workspace. So it's hosted in the actual thing, right? And plugin in the other. Okay, so now we're going to reload and see if it figures it out. Oh, it's confused. Okay. Error fetching it. Is your toolchain set up right? Absolute path. Hosted. So it's doubled again. Should either, if instead you open one, no, I'm not opening one. Sounds like your doubled path came from having VS Code open at one of the sub workspace levels, but still giving the relative path. Cleanest is to approach is to use the parent folder and then let linked projects point it. So it's suggesting that I don't use folders. I tried the workspace folder bed work cargo toml, and it still is doubling the embed workspace part. It's not concurrency problems. It's trying to get it to understand two different projects at once. Building problem still happens with workspace folder if the VS workspace itself is already in there. Basically it says my root is workspace folder. So workspace folder embed workspace means root/embed workspace, which is now root embed workspace and embed workspace. Problem means you've opened VS Code like this, opened it in settings and doing that, which resolves fixes. You need to give Rust Analyzer a path that's relative to the folder you actually opened in VS Code, or use an absolute path. Yep. I can just use absolute folders, it says. It thinks I have a folder open. Let's just close the workspace. Open workspace from file. Yeah, it's, so I don't have the folder open in VS Code. I have the code workspace open. Take that, ChatGPT. Gotcha. So you've got a code workspace file open, but not a plain folder. That changes how workspace folder works. points to the first one. So let's say it's this. That way you won't get doubled. Oh. I see. So it's suggesting instead I do this. And then it says I can do this. It says I can try it that way now. Nope. Still a problem. Base. I'll say it seems workspace folder bed is used as is in the path name and not expanded. So it doesn't find such a folder. Yeah, that's the annoying part. Link project doesn't actually do VS Code variable expansion. It just expects a literal file system. So if you write that, it will literally try to find a folder. So to make it work, you either use absolute paths or use relative paths from the code workspace files directory. Yeah, but that's what I tried before and it doubled it. So I'm just going to try the absolute path thing. So I'd like to have over here. Let's try to open a shell. I'm just doing this to get absolute paths in the clipboard. PWD. Select that text, copy, paste D. Oops. Just go back to not naming them, let it be auto-named. Actually, it looks like it's doing it now. Like that might have fixed it. Problem is it's using absolute paths, which is not ideal. Like if I check this out on another computer, that path's not going to be correct. Okay, there's another thing I can do. I can have a VS Code /settings.json in each workspace that has a different Rust Analyzer linked project. I guess I can try that. Okay, I'd rather do that than have. Well, let me see if this worked. So this worked because we're getting the error again. And then this, let's cause a. No, the inlay hints here are just broken. If I make an error, it probably won't know how to fix that. Okay. So no, wait. I just needed to wait. Okay. Okay, it's working. Okay, cool. So it works with absolute paths. So it's saying that if I make settings.json in a VS Code. So here, like for example, in hosted, it says if I make a folder .vs code, and there I make a settings.json, and I put that there, and then I do the same thing in the plugin folder, VS Code, settings.json, paste same thing. And if I go to the workspace now and I remove this and then reload, see if this is suggesting I try this instead. Oh, that's bad. Actually, it looks like it's working because it figured out that error. This one I don't have. One doesn't seem to be working yet, but I think I might just need to give it time. Yes, it's working. Whew. Okay, good. We don't need to use absolute paths. All right. So the workspace just lists the folders, and each folder has a settings JSON in it, which just says the linked project is the cargo toml. Actually, I'm wondering if I even need this. This setting cannot be applied in this workspace. It will be applied when you open the containing workspace folder directly. So maybe I don't even need these files, and all along I really only needed to have folders. Right? Maybe that's the only thing I really needed. Found multi-root and workspace in VS Code. It does discover projects. So I might have just been too aggressive in having the linked workspaces thing from the beginning. Right? So let me test that theory. I will just delete those VS Code folders. Reload. So now there are no VS Code folders in either place. It looks like it's working. So really then the only thing I needed all along was folders. Cool. And this one just takes a moment to load, I guess. Or do I have to save first? Yeah, okay. I had to hit save for it to load that one. Okay, so I'm okay with having to hit save when I switch workspaces. I'm not going to do that a whole lot anyway. So I should just fix this problem, right? So this bridge. Oh, I see the problem here. This I had a re-export, so I'm not using the re-export. Can't click there right now. Dang it. Yeah, if I just remove that, it should fix that. There's a little bit of delay. Huh, interesting. I can't click up here anymore. Again, dead zone. Need to figure that out eventually. Okay, cool. Whew. So let's test the plugin. After I reboot. Maybe I go back to Chat. See, there's no real use in telling ChatGPT the what ended up happening, right? It's not I'm not helping to train it or make it better. My inclination is if it was a human, I would go back and give it feedback saying, hey, all I really need to do all along was just have the folders listed. I didn't need to have the linked projects. And they would say, oh, thank you for telling me. I'll keep that in mind for next time or something. Right? So yeah, anyway, we're in plugin, we're in Lua plugin here, right? Yeah. Okay, I just wanted tabs there. Okay, so projects posted plugin. Okay, so here I wanna have a symlink for examples. Actually, I also want that under hosted. Okay, so in the I need to do this one-time setup thing, right? Well, I first need to build it. Cargo build. Do I care? I guess release. It's a possibility that they use chat results to feedback in the system, but I wouldn't count on it. Like to manage your own LLM memory, but until then I won't be giving feedback. It doesn't need to hear it, yeah. I kind of feel bad when, I don't know, the current chat GPT at the end said, do you want me to mock up your .code-workspace with that fix so both workspaces will have working inlay hints and diagnostics? And I'm like, I feel bad not responding at all. But I figure it's a machine. It doesn't really care if I don't ever give it an answer to that, right? It's just going to sit there forever. By the way, it also says that I've hit the free plan limit for GPT-5. Responses will use another model until your limit resets tomorrow after 1:51 a.m. It's basically saying I can't even talk to ChatGPT-5 till 1:51 a.m. anyway. See the last line. Go now we can. So while it's there, we can make sure this is build. That's one advantage. If I make a change, I can actually build both projects simultaneously. So I could actually, should probably actually try to automate that with a script, something that builds both projects simultaneously. Almost done building the hosted GUI in one, and it's still in the middle building the plugin version. Which one will win? The GUI's gonna win because it's, there we go, it's done. So this continues to work, right? Right. Okay. And then over to the plugin side. For the plugin, I had to make an additional symlink after it builds because Lua is not able to locate the .so from the example folder, because I'm going to want to run it from there. Okay, well, oh, it's done. So yeah, if I do, see, I have a link there, and you see how it's broken. So actually, should actually find that, right? No. Actually, why is it going 2 levels up? That's weird. It's like not. It's not using. See, it says it's in plugin examples, but it's really in examples because examples symlinks to / examples. So I guess I don't want to link to .target. I want to change that, right? I want to link to but then I got to go back into plugin and then target. Release lib. I don't even know what it's called. That's another problem. I think it's called lib lua plugin right now, which is gross. But I wanted to call it lib. Actually, right now it has to be libbridge. We have to fix the names. So now if I do lua view.lua, I couldn't find it. Wait, did that my symbolic link not work? Oh, it's libbridge. I need that to be. Oh, and it has to be symbolic. It did a hard link there. Remove bridge.so. Remove libbridge. Okay, now Lua view. Cool. Hey, look, there it works. Remember like half an hour ago when you guys rated me and I promised to show you what the Lua plugin was doing? So this view Lua, right? It's pulling in our parsing tools and it's using the old name bridge, which is why I had to symlink it as bridge.so. It's pulling in the parser, it's pulling in the file, parsing it, finding the palette, locating the image, displaying the image, right? So it's leveraging this image viewer that I've been spending the last few weeks on, which is this thing, and that's what I hope to build into the main GUI, which looks like this. So I kind of want to fit it in. So conceptually, this image viewer will kind of sit under the main panel, kind of like right there, right? So that as you're going through the image and you find one you want to look at, you click on like the rendering block and it would just pop up the image. And then this allows you to kind of like zoom into an area or find where you want. It shows you the row and column you're on. If you hold down shift, there's a little magnifier. And my idea is to like further integrate this so like if you click on a pixel, it would actually show you where that is in the decoder's output stream. So like if you imagine that you click it and it might say, oh, it's this pixel here, which is from this input symbol, right? But I have to do a few more things. For example, for it to know the row and column, I have to actually encode it in the output somewhere. So, and then I have to connect the scripting. So the idea is that a click would send a feedback saying, user clicked an image, column 42, row 17, and then the Lua script would say, okay, let me look for the node in the output data that has that row and column in it, and let me identify where the input symbol was in the original bit stream, and then which output pixels that corresponds to, and then the original image viewer, it would highlight not just the pixel you clicked, but the pixel and its neighbor, because that particular symbol actually output 2 pixels. So that's the kind of thing that I want to have like more tightly integrated, and I feel that like the logic to like go between row column and like where to find it in the data, that's more easily scripted than or it's better to script that than to hard code it into anything, because again, I want this to be reusable. Ultimately, I don't want to have to change the image viewer code, and I don't want to have to change the GUI code. All I want to have to change is the original GIF format. Actually, this is cool. It shows me in both workspaces. So like, just stick to hosted. I had an example down here. Yeah. So this is like this kind of syntax I might want to have. So I don't have it in my code yet, but you can imagine that mixed in with the syntax of describing the format, we might have like, if you click on the image data, execute this as in the scripting language in Lua, and more detail with ... but essentially tell the host to show as detail an image viewer, and then ultimately we'd have other things in here like, if the user clicks on a row and a column, run this Lua function, and that function would go back into the image data and like figure out what which symbol and do whatever, right? But it would all be coded up inside the original format. So that was my idea. Anyway, I'm glad you stuck with me until I had the thing working, so I could show you this thing, because I'm actually quite proud of this. It's just not integrated back into the hosted thing yet. And I wanted this separate plugins thing so that I can play around with the automation stuff without having to manually interact with the GUI every time, because it's sort of a pain every time I change something to have to go and find that image again and like click it and then do whatever, right? Plus, it's not just a matter of finding it. The script does other things, right? It actually has to extract the width and the height. It has to extract the global color table, and it's also responsible for forming the strings when you need a label for a pixel, which is basically when you do this. You hold down Shift to get the magnifier, and there's that color with the index next to it. That's generated by this Lua script here. In fact, I can prove it to you. I can say hi. Now when I run it again, it says hi. Proof. Don't know why I feel like I have to prove things. Okay, I'm happy I got this working again. I should probably make another tab. Send that out of the virtual machine. Wow, that did a lot of changes. Oh, I need to fix up the names. So I don't want to call it mlua plugin. I'd like to call it just lib DataDisintegrator or libdd or something like that. So that means I need to learn how to rename the output of crate. So in this plugin, mlua plugin here, which I'm not attached to that name yet, but here, there's got to be some way in here to say what you want to call the output crate. So I'm going to look that up. Days remaining till you run out of memory. I don't know, I'm always running out of memory. I've realized lately that I cannot hold all of the things I learn in my brain, so I have to have a notebook at work now. And I used to have a notebook for stream too, but it just takes takes so much time for me to keep the notebook up to date, and I figure it's boring for everyone watching me, so I don't do it as much on stream anymore. What was I going to look up? I was going to look up how do you set up a Rust crate so that Rust. Oh, damn it! I did undo. Type it again. How do you set up a Rust cdilib crate to have a different binary file name? All right, here we go. My duck AI. You specify the desired name under package section using the name field. Okay. Okay, so under bin, I do a name and a path. Okay. Does it have double? The name, okay, see here there's only one set, so I'm thinking that it hallucinated the extra set of brackets there. And no, maybe it didn't. It just forgot them there. Okay, so I want a name. I'm just gonna call it DD. And I guess I have to put in a path. See if that worked. Yeah, I just do cargo build, right? Looking for a main function. So it's not bin, it's probably lib, right? Oh, there was already a lib. So do I just put the name there? I think that was it. So destroying the disk. Is DD the disk destroyer? No, I just wanted to make it a short. I didn't want to call it liblua plugin because that's lame. DD for DataDisintegrator. I think DataDisintegrator is too long. I wanted to keep it short. libdd. Let's do cargo. Well, I was going to do cargo clean, but then it's going to take a long time to build. If I go into target, what's here? Well, let's remove debug. I don't know. Let's just remove all the SOs. that's fine, right? So then I just go 2 levels up, cargo build again. Release. Okay, cool. And then under examples, I'm going to remove the bridge SO, and I'm going to ln-s plugin target release libdd.so to be dd.so. And I'm going to go, before I forget, immediately go in and into view Lua and make this dd. And I guess we'll just select all, call it dd, DataDisintegrator, and try to run it. Error loading mod of dd from module dd so, undefined symbol Lua open dd. dd. So does that mean need to have the name of the function dd? Probably, right? Okay, what's the error? I think because it's building. Oh, I gotta wait for it. Or I can just tell it to build here, right? So is it really running Clippy at the same time this is building? I think it is. Yeah. Hey, that worked. Okay. And Clippy's taking its sweet time. Cannot create expander for... Oh, it's... Because I'd wiped its debug folder. Okay, I was not nice to it, was I? Let's reload. I guess it uses the debug build to get me the squigglies. So I was not nice to it. I deleted the debug build. Just gonna have to rebuild the debug target. That's fine. While it does that, I'm wondering if I even need the path there. Because that's the default path, right? All I really wanted was to override the default name to call it DD. What's Clippy? I think it's a tongue-in-cheek reference to the old Microsoft Clippy, but mind you, it's I was hoping it would say what it is, but it's basically the Rust linter. So you run cargo Clippy, and it not only builds your project, but it lints it. It tells you, it will see lint configuration. It finds all the things that it thinks might not be right or might not be standard Rust, and it will bitch at you about it. Basically, it's catching not only syntax errors or compiler errors, but also things that aren't right. So like, if it's running now, if I call this like capital exports, if I just rename it to be capital exports, that's still valid Rust. But you see how I put a yellow squiggly over it? That's Clippy complaining, saying it should have a snake case name, lowercase exports. So it'll still build. It's just that Clippy is going to complain. So if I do, well, I can just do it from this window. Cargo Clippy. Well, I have to go one directory up. Why did it not complain? Oh, it didn't hit save. There we go. See, if I can still do cargo build. Actually, I guess build does. Okay, so this is not just a Clippy, like a linter thing. The compiler also complains. So I have to do something more subtle so that it doesn't warn me when it's building, but it does warn when I use Clippy. So that what would something like that be? Like doing something like making I have to like I have to think about this. You know how it's like easy to make a compiler warning but hard by mistake, but hard to make one on purpose? Yeah, so just think of Clippy as like the extra warning generator. If you don't have enough warnings from your compiler and you're like kind of lonely because you don't get enough warnings, then turn on your linter. And for Rust, the linter is called Clippy. Um, but I really want to find a good example of this. So let me keep looking. So like, let me go into here. I know. I'll just look for an allow. Search for allow. Yeah, there's lots of these. So fine, right? Yeah, in the bridge. So if like I just comment this out, for example, since it's a Clippy warning, when this catches up, weird how it takes it a while. Anyway, or maybe we already did this, and so this not a. Well, let's see. This is in a common one called bridge, so I should be able to do it here. So if this builds with no warnings, but then Clippy gives me a warning, then that's a good example, right? Yeah, there we go. So see how the build, we didn't get any warnings or errors. But Clippy does an extra deep level of checking and it says, oh, you're casting a signed 64-bit integer to an unsigned size, which is the number of bits based off of the size of your pointer. So it's 64-bit for me, but basically signed to unsigned, you're going to lose the sign of the value, right? Well, the compiler didn't look deep enough to see that you might be doing that, but Clippy looks deeper and it sees, you did that. And by the way, it says, I only warned you about this because you asked for it. Turning on pedantic or nursery level warnings, it will enable this. It's like if I didn't tell it to be pedantic, it would not have bitched about that. Yeah, Nightshade Dude's right. It's just your imagination. I'm not really here. And Nightshade Dude isn't here either. It's all in your very, very expansive imagination. I'm kind of worried that I did not. Oh, there it runs. Now it's running Clippy, and I should get a. I'm not getting a warning. Why not? Hold on. Let me close others. Let me save. There we go. Now the warning appears. I guess it gets confused if I have files from the different workspaces open at the same time. But yeah, this is ideal. That I like to have the tools set up so that it's integrated with the editor. So I don't have to wait until I go out to the command line and I'm building stuff. I want to see it as I'm developing. So this is good. So if I could fix that by doing that allow, and I had a to-do to come back here and fix that, but I just haven't done it. Nightshade Dude's everywhere. A Nightshade Dude is in all streams in this category. Just try to find the stream that Nightshade Dude is not in software and game dev. That should be your challenge, right? Let's see, what was I going to do next? I need to play with this a little bit more to make sure that it's not broken. So let's go to a random source file here and cause a syntax error. Okay, and then let me flip over to plugin to a random place. And we can even go to the same place, right? So, no, actually, data trees hosted only. Go to a plugin only one and break that. So break that just by deleting a character. So if I flip over here, okay, it still shows me I have errors. It says it's in the plugin. That's great. Okay, here's a test. Fix that, and now let me go to something that's actually shared. First we'll visit it and host it. We'll just go to the abstract syntax tree. I'll just eat a colon there. ideally we want to see the same error twice. So we only see it once in hosted, but what if I open up the same file in the plugin? Ah, see, now we see it twice. If I close it. Now it's, okay, what if I close both? Okay, so it only really remembers one project at a time, but do I blame it? Not really. I wonder if it has to do with who saves. If I save it, see, now it remembers the only one of the old errors. I guess we actually have to trigger it to check again. That means if I save it in one and we go back to the other, it actually doesn't update quick enough. But if I hit save again, it updates. Okay, so that tells me that whenever I flip between workspaces, I have to actually trigger the linter by saving. All right, so it didn't have to do that before, but now we have this really exotic dual workspace thing. Oh, was I going to clean up anything else in this project? Do a plugin. Oh, I was going to try to do this without the path. Huh. I was expecting it to tell me that it was busy in the other window and it was waiting to get a lock, but it didn't. You're on mobile at the moment, only one stream. Daichi, dude, don't reveal your secrets. We have to keep an air of mystery and keep you enigmatic. This is all to boost your image. I'm just trying to help. OBV beans. Just because Nightshade Dude is like the preeminent lurker in most streams doesn't mean he's not there. He's there. The challenge is to trick him into commenting. So next time you stream, keep in mind, I know Nightshade Dude is here because he's in all streams. I just need to figure out a way to trick him to unlurk himself. Okay. So that means, yeah, I didn't need to have that path there. It was happy building it as is. Okay. Kind of feeling I'm all over the place, but I think we're good. So my script that copies things out is very chatty about the symlinks. Also, I still have one in stage. I need to fix that. Stage. Bridge. Wait, what is it in examples again? I need to make the same thing here. dd.so to plugin target release libdd.so. I did it in the wrong order. It's target first and then source. There we go. Okay. If I do lua view.lua from here, it should work, right? And also, if I go to plugin examples and do the same thing, it should also work. Cool. And if I do examples, from here, does it work? No, because it can't find it. So I'd have to do something like cd examples, lua examples, view.lua, cd ... right? Without the examples. Okay, and then really I want to do a cargo build release, cd examples, lua view.lua, cd ... Okay, it's building because I had been building release or debug before. Now it's building release, and that's a little bit behind. Okay, see ya, Nightshade Dude. Actually, we know he's going to stick around. He's just going to lurk now. It's already 10:30. Jeez. A command not found cd dot dot. Okay, because we're in the cool. Can I like make that a shell script? This I'm not sure about, but I kind of want to do it. So, new file, call it test.sh. Bin sh, right? And then because it's in a shell script, I can actually be decent about it and put them on different lines. And a better way is to do push d pop d, right? Okay, and then chmod to make it executable. Test.sh, test.sh. Push d not found, because that's not a shell script thing, is it? Or is it that it's a zish thing? That's what it is. It's a zish thing, not an sh thing. Okay, cool. So now I have a quick thing to test. Oh, I wanted to make one that builds everything from the very top, right? So from the top, which I can't get here, but let's make a symlink so I can see it. ln-s dot call it top. Now there should be a top folder. And I can see everything from there. I wonder if that's going to confuse the hell out of this. Let me reload and see. I don't want to screw up my Rust analyzer. I think I just confused my Rust analyzer by doing that. I want to keep the trees separate so they should not, when it's looking down, it shouldn't end up recursing. I think it's doing that now, so we can't do that. That's actually where I want to stay. Plugin. Reload. Oh, you know what? I think I just didn't give it enough time. I think it's not until I actually click into a project and then Rust Analyzer activates. Okay, so maybe it was okay to do this. Let's try it again then. Okay, yeah. Reload. I'm hoping it doesn't descend in there and then end up recursing. I want to be nice to my Rust Analyzer, not get it confused. So the whole point of this was to open that from two different workspaces, right? As a test. One from the hosted and one from the plugin. Same file. So if I change one, it'll change the other. So if I like cause a syntax error in one, we actually see it in both now. Huh. Interesting, but it's not the same one until I hit save, right? Then we get the same errors. Interesting. So I fix it in one, it doesn't immediately know it's fixed here until I hit save again. I can live with that. Okay, so it's okay even though I have that top thing again, right? So that's good. I wanted to be able to get to the top because I wanted to look in here be able to see the code workspace file, to-do list, and everything else. Collapse. This might be a really good stopping point. How long have I been going? An hour and 46 minutes. Nightshade Dude is already not really gone. He's just lurking. Oh, I might wind this down unless I want to do something really easy. They're all hard things, aren't they? Yeah. Oh, this reminds me, the script I made, it didn't make sure that the symlink was made, and someone has suggested that I try to make a build RS that does it. That symlink and there. Yeah, I did want to have a top. That's right. That's why I added top. I forgot. I was gonna go in here and add a new script called like build.sh, build all sh. So this is a zish script again. It should do. ChatGPT gave me the command to do this. How to build both from the same script. What did it actually tell me? I guess I just searched for build. Build sure shows up in a lot of spots. Ways to do a one command thing. Simple shell script. Okay, it's build manifest path. Manifest path. Hosted cargo hummel. And plugin. So let's try this. So from the common folder here, chmod plus x build all. Actually, I have a build folder. I do. Whoa, that's really old. July? No, it's. Oh, okay. These are old then. I could remove that. This should build both now. So it should build. It's building the hosted ones, and then it should build the plugin ones. I'm wondering if I should build both debug and release in the same script. That. Yeah, now it's building the plugin one. And then it's kind of hard to time all these together, but it would be nice to know the total time. I could probably, if I was better at scripting languages, I could do that. While it's building, oh, no, it's done. Let me start the process of building the debug too. While it's doing that, let's look it up. How in a Zish script can I time how long it takes to execute a sequence? Execute. Oh, well, I did it again. I hit the key thing that I meant for back, and I actually hit back in the browser. In a Zish script, how do you get the total time it took to execute sequence of commands? I could type fast enough. Wrap it in a function and time the function? Yeah, probably. I just don't know how to do that. So I'm just gonna why learn how to do it when you can just be lazy and have your overlord do it? Okay, so it says to do a time around that. Let's see that. It just says to do this. See if that works. It did not work. It did not do it, so what did, oh. Yeah, that didn't work. Did I follow up? The time command, I'll just say the time command did not actually output anything. Might be due to how you're using it, how your script is structured. Time command is to give you a capturing output. Okay. This isn't as good as Duck AI isn't as good as ChatGPT. Let me just ask in ChatGPT. New chat. I'm just gonna ask it this. I'm gonna have the same prompt. Let's see what ChatGPT says. Now, I'm not using GPT-5 because I've hit the limit, but see what the old model says. Use a seconds variable built-in shell timer. Use date command to get a more precise time. Use time command. Okay, it says to just take off the parentheses. See if it's right. I don't think it is. It's not printing anything. But now I can follow up and say, I tried alternative 3, but nothing was output. Time command Zish behaves a little differently depending on how you use it. If you did this and got an output, it's most likely the reason your script or shell might be running time FMT set to an empty string, a redirected output, or the block syntax didn't trigger the timers expected. So it says to set the time FMT and to put it in parentheses instead of. Let's try the parentheses thing. That was it. Okay. It was the parentheses. And actually, I'm going to do the time format thing too, because maybe then I don't need to see this chunk. So it recommended I do this. Nope. That I want to get rid of this though. Let's follow up with ChatGPT. How I say that worked but it echoed the commands in the output, making the actual time harder to read. How do I suppress that? You're seeing it. I need to do the trace enabled, disable trace if it's enabled. So set plus X. It's the parentheses according to GPT. Yeah, my GPT is better than Duck AI. This ChatGPT is suggesting that I put a set plus X here. It did not do anything. I guess the out. I'll just say I meant the output is my commands here. Total time here. And what I wanted was just the total time. See if it figures that out. I see when you do that, it actually echoes the whole command. Parentheses, yeah, now it figured it out. If you want to suppress the parentheses dot dot, show only the timing, then solution use time on a function or a subshell without the echo. Okay. So then it's saying I should restructure this as a function. So that was it misunderstood me about the trace thing. It just says commands, and then I have to do a parentheses, and then this becomes brackets, and then I do time commands. And it didn't print out anything. Let me add the time format. It says I should include that. Okay. That didn't output anything about the total time. It's probably because the shells wasn't set by default, so it says make sure that you're running zish, not bash or sh. Make sure time format is set before the time command. If timing, no, it's not any of that. It says I can paste it. I'm just gonna paste it. Thanks for sharing the script. It looks good, but cargo build produces quite a lot of output. I'll just say the output is this. How do I copy that? Oh, just have a mouse dead zone. This was the full output. Okay, it's not showing, it's getting lost. To make sure it's saved with new lines. Was the print something before and after it? Run this, force it. Okay, also you could do a wrapper. It's suggesting that I put like echo here. Yeah, it's just not printing anything. So it says to do this. But how is it gonna get the thing to do this now? I don't see how it could get it into the seconds variable. Yeah, it's stupid. Now it's totally hallucinating. Try one of the other things it suggested. I think it's just kind of lost now. Did you guys know we're doing vibe programming now? It's true. Not counting as you expected. Make sure you set it. Don't reset it. How does it get this? It doesn't know to get the seconds variable. It's assuming that it's just going to overwrite the seconds. Right? Oh, whatever. I think I'm just going to give up on it. I'm going to give up. The way it was working before was to do time around the whole thing with parentheses, right? That at least worked. It just gave me a suboptimal output. You know, I wonder if it's set at 0 because it actually is less than 1 second. That could be why. Should I test that theory? Redo everything. And then we'll change something that'll force it to take a little bit longer to compile. So I'll go into, I don't know, the GUI or something and the app, and I'll just like, I don't know, I don't even think I need to actually change anything. Change one character, and now it's going to take more than a second to build that, right? Because we all know the Rust compiler is super fast and always takes less than a second if you didn't change anything. Not. What does this usually take, like 10 seconds at least? 14 seconds. And it's got to build it again for release. This is something that's best done like while I'm doing something else. Oh, Ice Under Fire said to try Epic Real Time. We can try that. Okay, I was wrong. It was just rounding down to 0. So it was actually correct, but maybe I should give it one more chance and say that was actually working, but since the commands total took less than a second, it was still outputting 0. How do I have it output fractional seconds? Okay, it says to do. Oh, actually, Ice Under Fire. It said exactly what you said. Try Epic Real Time. So it caught up to you. You might be ChatGPT, or you might have gotten it from ChatGPT, or you might just be smarter than, or you might be you. For whatever case, you beat me to it. It's not seconds anymore, right? It's still 0 though. It says I need to do zmod load zish date time. And wants me to do a start and an end. Is that what you had me do too? Yeah. So I actually did the wrong thing there. So it's really that. And it wants me to do. Still do the commands, but not do the time. And it's calculating, and then I'll just copy exactly what it's doing. Syntax error. What's standard in 2 syntax error? I did leave this off. It wants me to do that. Oh, I guess that was it. We needed that zmod load. So you didn't get that Ice Under Fire, but you had everything else. Start, end, and then elapsed is echo, and yeah, exactly. So this is important, though, apparently. If you don't have that, you get a syntax error. Okay, cool. This is thanks to ChatGPT and ice under fire. Thank you, AI overlord and chat. Cool. All right, I think I'm going to call it here. It's getting late. But yeah, thanks for watching. Is there anyone else streaming that I know? Oh, there are a couple different people. Why don't we raid someone who's working on the universal chat client? You all know what it's called. It's called Pigeon. We're going to raid one of the developers of Pigeon, the universal chat client. If I can copy paste his name without accidentally clicking on it, that's what I'm going to do. Yep. Good night, TieGuy606 and Ice Under Fire and Tinsy Rhythm. What's the progress like before I go? I'll talk about it as I'm waiting for the raid thing. We're going to raid RW Grim. In the meantime, what I've been up to, I have my workspace now split, and this was required because into hosted and plugin pieces, because basically I have 2 different configurations of Lua now. So when I run the main GUI, I want to be able to host Lua in here. And I just have some examples here that say, hello, this is the Lua script. We're reading this file. Here's the size. So this is hosting the Lua interpreter. And then I also want another configuration where it's running the Lua interpreter and then loading my parser in as a plugin. So because that ends up building mlua in 2 different configurations that are mutually exclusive, I needed to split my workspace into 2. So now I have a workspace for my main GUI, which hosts Lua, and then I have another workspace for my Lua plugin, which inverts that, puts my parser into a Lua plugin. For use in automating tests like the one I have here where I was working on my image viewer, and I wanted to have a nice automation script like this, where we're just telling it exactly what it should do. So I just tell it to go and it does it all. So now we have both. So that's basically what I've been doing, and I will see you next time. Thank you.